Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I could go into a climate change discussion right now, but we'll hold off on that. We'll stick with ag. Look, we're on the cusp of planting season in Montana. Thank you for being here, Mr. Secretary. We're on the cusp of planting season. I'm in that business, as you know. You're in that business, you know. The fact is that show me a crop we can plant right now that's worth anything. It's really hard. And I'm going to tell you, as though I appreciate the trade mitigation payments for our agriculture, the more we do those kind of things, the more taxpayers' ears go up and go, well, you know what, if farmers are getting it, why aren't equipment dealers getting it? Equipment dealers are getting it, how come the gas distributor isn't getting it? So we've got a problem, and I think we've got a problem not only in Montana, but across this country. I can give you quotes from folks who were in agriculture. Lyle Benjamin, who's president of the Montana Grain Growers Association, which is one of the largest grain association in the state, said it's going to be hard to break even this year. When you can't break even, you go broke. Rural America is under attack. You know that. We're losing people right and left. We lost them in the 80s. I think we're on the cusp of losing a whole bunch again. Bankers tell me you got about 18 months. Well, we're just about at 18 months. TPP is going into effect without us. I just heard Montana farmers are planting 310,000 fewer acres of wheat, which is great, but what are we going to plant? If you want to plant pulse crops, they're not worth anything. I'll get into hemp in a minute, but the fact is there is so much uncertainty going on right now, and with the tariffs both directions, John Deere announced an increase in their equipment costs, fuel prices are trending up. This is a recipe for disaster in rural America, and it is man-made. We stepped out of TPP. One of Montana's biggest customers was Japan. We no longer have the trade advantages that places like Australia do now with Japan. We don't have any trade advantages. In fact, they have the trade advantages. You know the story. You've heard it. If you haven't, I know you have. Okay. The question is, and I know the chairman talked about this a little bit with China, is there bilateral trade talks going on right now with Japan?
There are. And
when do you anticipate an agreement with Japan?
You know, Senator, that I'm not the negotiator in that regard. We have a U.S. trade representative, and I think the question we better deliver to him. I do know of his interest. I do know his understanding of the disadvantage that American producers would have regarding TPP, but yep. I'm hoping it will be sooner rather than later.
Well, I'm here to tell you that I know that some folks in production agriculture want to see the guys go broke because the smaller ones will go first and they think they can buy them out. But I'm telling you, from a rural America perspective, a rural Montana perspective, this is not a good thing. From a food security perspective, this is not a good thing. You got less producers, you got more evacuation from rural America, you got schools closing down, you got hospitals closing down, you got a mess. And it's a mess that's caused by us. Not like in Kansas with the floods, it's caused by us. And so I hope the guy who's negotiating is listening, because time is of the essence here, and if you can help push them, and I know you're a good man, I hope you do. We've got to have trade. I mean, we eat a lot of food domestically, but if we don't have foreign markets, we are hosed. And so it is really important. Now I want to talk about hemp. One of those crops that we might have been able to raise in Montana, and by the way, we still could raise this season, is hemp. I can go into the agronomic effects of hemp, but you know that monoculture is something that doesn't work too well. So if you can put another crop in the rotation, break up weed and disease cycles, it's a good thing. Hemp is one of those crops. Sure. Just like pulse crops were a few years ago in Montana where we raised nothing but winter wheat and barley. Now we can raise pulse crops. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for the communities. It's a good thing for business. I get that this might be a complicated thing, but doesn't the law allow you to accept state plans?
Senator, the 2014 Farm Bill allowed for that. They will still be able to continue under the 2014.
DEA won't let them because the 2018 Farm Bill supersedes that.
Who won't let them?
DEA. So right now, when they could have used the pilot program from a few years back,
I've not heard that.
You correct me if I'm wrong. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. They could plan it, but when the new Farm Bill got signed, it superseded the previous one, and now they can't cess or seed until the USDA acts. And what I'm asking you to do is you have the capacity to adopt those state plans. Do it. And then people in Montana can start raising the stuff. We can start developing markets for pressing. We can develop markets for the roughage. We can wear clothes that will never wear out. And by the way, I've got a hemp hat I've been trying to wear out for 20 years that I got out of Canada. You can't wear the stuff out. And so I implore you, especially with all the trade stuff that's going on, please look at your options and look at from perspective of not why, how can we not do it, but damn it, we got to do it.
I'm a do-it person, Senator.
You wouldn't be successful in business if you
With
weren't.
all due respect, if we had a farm bill by September the 30th, I think you'd had some rules here as well.
I get that, but you do have the option of accepting those state plans.
That is our policy currently, that we're accepting the plans under the 14 Farm Bill until we can fine-tune these regulations in the 18 Farm Bill.
So what you're saying-
This DEA is news to me.
So what you're saying is that farmers in Montana can plant hemp based on
Based on the rules that the
2014
state was operating under the 14 Farm Bill.
I will get back to you on that, because right now, the farmers are telling me they can't get seed out of Canada. They could under the 14 bill.
If that's the case, we'll look at it as well and look forward to talking with your office about that.
Thank you. Have a great Easter.
Thank you.